Hi everyone, it's Alisha Braché here at Cosmic Gateway. I am joined by my absolutely gorgeous co-hosts. We've got Zara from Guidance by Z, and we've got Donovan from Donegal, Number Vibrationalist. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome to our energy update for April, second week of April 2019. I got that wrong last week. I watched the replay. I said 18. I don't so what a great topic to start off this
time is non-linear. It's okay.
I have to say that more and more every year it becomes more non-linear. For me, I feel like I left time years ago from my own experience, but I have to say that this week, out of all weeks, everything is so, something happened yesterday, it feels like 2 months ago, something happened a week ago. Like literally, I looked down at the calendar and I was like, oh my God, it was a week ago that we recorded. It felt like, I don't even know, like time's just speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. And, I was kind of joking before we hit the record button. I was like, well, I don't know if there's much to share because it doesn't really feel like the energy's changed much from last week. Although it has, there's just this sense or feeling that, we're still getting glimpses and glimmers of what's coming through in this magnificent awe. Like we have these breakthrough moments where the inspiration is there and the connection's there and it's really strong, but it doesn't see, it's kind of like it fades out like a firecracker, like it's blazing and then it kind of dulls a little bit. And that need for sleep and rest and incubation and releasing continues on, and the firecracker goes again, and there's this little glimpse. And I think that that's got a lot to do with what we've been exploring, at least myself, been exploring with this, like time being so sparse. And I don't even know the word for it. What word am I looking for? Malleable? No.
Feels like really petty. It's just like, woo, like that, It's just.
So, what have you guys, how have you felt? And where's the energy at? What have your observations been over the last week?
I talked about how it felt like we were getting ready to go to a party. We were in the planning stages of getting ready, running to the dry cleaner and things like that. Last week I said that. This week I kind of feel like whoever's going to the party, you're either just had a really long shower and now you've fallen asleep on your bed, pulling your towel with your hair all wet and messy, and you're just done. You're like, I just need sleep. I just need to just be not right now. I'm just. There's that group of people. I feel like there's a group of people that are slowly taking their time, sitting in front of that mirror, listening to really good music and putting on their makeup slowly and slowly doing their hair and sipping that champagne while they're getting ready. And they're just like, they don't even care if they're going to go to the party. They're just having fun, just being and focusing and loving themselves and losing themselves in the fun and the good. And I feel like there is people that are the dry cleaner lost the dress, the shoe broke, the Spanx doesn't fit, the bra's not fitting properly. Like it's just everything's gone sideways, and they had put all this hope and energy into this party, and they're like ready to give up. They're like, fuck it, this just sucks. I don't even want to do this anymore. This, like, everything's gone, like everything's tumbled out of control. And that's kind of how I'm feeling it.
Mm-hmm. I love your analogies. It's great to put in context that we can all relate to. Maybe not in the last 5-10 years for me, but I feel like that story going back a while ago.
Yeah, I kind of had this vision of because it's so that the energy's been really dreamy, right? Really, really dreamy, very Neptunian, very illusory, time malleable, pushing and pulling. But I love your analogies, Zara. It's like, yeah, there's this one group, the first group you just discussed, which is where I'm at, where I'm like, I'm slowly getting ready. I'm sipping the champagne. I'm putting on my makeup, but just kind of like, I know there's stuff coming, but I just need to just be okay with the now. Be okay with now. It's all right. It's all working out. It's all good. But then there's this other group, and I've had moments of it and talking to others around the world, like, yeah, you're getting ready for the party, nothing's working, whatever. And it's like you turn up to the party in your pajamas and you're like, I don't give a shit. Fucking judge me. I don't give a shit. I'm just not in, and then part of this other group is kind of like, I fuck the party. I'm not going. I don't know why I accepted the invitation. I don't even
like those people.
I don't like those people. I don't even want to go out. I just want to stay at home and eat popcorn and freaking, I don't know, play with my dog or something. There's been a lot of that sort of toing and froing, but what I also been experiencing, Alisha, you're talking about these glimpses of this beautiful brilliance coming. And I remember last year, see, we're doing it again. Last week, you said you pulled the card lightning. Now, the number 7 is the lightning strike. So it's like we're going through these really dreamy, illusory phases, and every now and again we just go, pew, this divine strike, pew, I'm getting hit with it again, right? Just fleeting moments where we're like feeling really, really good and going, oh my God, no, it's all working out. It's all good. Like, I'm inspired and I know good stuff's coming, but they're just, in between these lightning strikes, it's like we've got all this washy, cloudy, stormy energy. And it's just like, what the freak is going on? And we spoke the other day, you were talking about, oh, that's right. I was saying to you that last month there was a 7 universal. So there was on a 7 day, there was a 7 universal date. Day before yesterday was a 7 universal date on a 7 day. And we were in this like, whoa, what is going on? Like, this is just like being in 2 freaking different realities and dimensions. And it was really weird, and the dreams were awesome and vivid. So there was all that. So the 7 does that. What you got to think too about the 7 unit. This is the 7 universal month. 7 rules, like dreams, and 7 rules the mind, right? But also like mental distraction, it rules mental illness. It rules all of this mind stuff the mind, it's like we're connected to the cosmic mind now, and because of the fluctuating, changing energies as they start to stabilize, is like it's kind of playing with our head a bit, And one of the things that we brought up earlier is like the journey that we're being asked to do at the moment is to go from the mind into the heart in this 7 universal month. April is a 4-month, right? A 4 month of the year, right? But we're asked, and mind equals 4, that's April, and we're asked to make that journey from the mind into the heart. And this is why the 7's kind of like playing with us, going, if you stay in your mind, it's going to get weird. It's going to get really fucking weird. But if you allow that flow of energy and integrate the heart with the mind and you find your alignment, you're going to ride this through in a much more embodied and calm and soothing way, and it won't seem so much like you turned up to the party naked, or you turned up to the party in your freaking weirdest onesie suit or pajamas, and then it all just goes weird, and it's like you're in a weird dream. It's like, who put me here? I don't even remember driving to this party. God damn it, right? So, I don't know. I know that's a bit disjointed.
I think that's beautifully hits up something that I've been thinking about for about a month now. This kind of, and it was so scattered that I never bothered to read it or write about it because I hadn't fully got my head around, which obviously I'm not meant to get my head around it. But it felt like back in somewhere in mid-March, there was this feeling or sense that there's this mind merging going on. And how I understand that is merging of the higher and lower mind, like the higher and lower consciousness. There's this merging of the left and right hemispheres. I'm talking energetically speaking, of course. I don't want anyone to get carried away thinking that their brain. but literally we're kind of combining the two, the brilliance of the analytics and the creativity. And it's a big process, and quite often I see that when I'm in my energy sessions, is literally this merging of consciousness, so that we can have this super consciousness that is all accessible to us, where it's like we're not flipping from one to the other, you know, because I think while we're going through our ascension process, that's where the confusing part comes in, because we're working with a high level of consciousness where everything makes sense, and all of a sudden we flip back into the 3D headspace and nothing makes sense anymore, and we go this flipping back, you know. And so that's why our soul family and tribe are so important, because when we're having those days that I call like 3D headspace days, which are necessary, because that's as we're going out of the releasing of the lower thoughts and the programming, it's so important to rely on our soul tribe to connect with us, to keep us sane during those phases that we think that we're losing our mind, because we've just had this like heightened experience, and then we're back into like kind of more lower level energies and experiences, and that's what it does. But it feels like that lack of clarity, that lack of insight, that lack of inspiration, can't kind of get our head around things. Remember, we went through all those different phases, we couldn't articulate things. I think that is what we're witnessing as a part of this kind of merging of the lower and higher mind, you know, and on an individual and collective level. I don't know if you guys have had any about that, but you just prompted me to talk about that. And I think that you know, a lot of the elements that come into play around that is not having, you know, the clarity and all that, but I think it's also the direction as well, where we can kind of feel like, I'm not sure where I'm going, I don't know if this is right, I don't feel inspired. I know that that's kind of been a theme for a lot of people, and I think it's because we're in this process of being able to merge into having this super consciousness come online all the time, is that we kind of get shut down temporarily. And it feels like, you know, you were talking about that 7 universal, oh my God, that day, everything that could go wrong went wrong for me. Yeah, I was on the phone to both of you where I lost my oil cap and just random shit just going down. It just shouldn't have happened. But it was like, no, like, you're not meant to be doing this. So we're kind of just going to put things in place so you can just chill. And it's hard for people like me that just want to like just do it, you know, and don't like to sit still. But those pause moments or days or weeks are so important, because energetically that unraveling of the timelines is that if we put energy into other things while we're going into this, while we're in this like dropping, collapsing timeline state, we're only like rejoining the energy of what we're trying to collapse. That's why we get put in those zones of sit still, sit, you know, which is very frustrating if we try and force it. So those days, you know, really just take a chill, take a deep breath, just whoo. Because then the next day or 2 days later, everything will fall into place quite effortlessly.
And it does move so quickly as we, you know, wash through these energies. You were talking about the lower and higher mind, and something I had written here was a theme that's been coming up, right? All right. This is like the higher mind, you know, the heart is connected to the higher mind.
Right.
The brain is the lower mind. It's the ego mind. It's the trickery, right?
Yeah.
And the illusory mind, something that's been coming up is the word gratitude. And I've been talking to people around, and they've been saying, I'm experiencing people's lack of gratitude at the moment, like particularly this week. And it's brought up a lot of stuff, because really I started to have to really delve deep into that. So I'm like, what is gratitude ultimately? And the first thing that of course comes is where does gratitude come from? It's not in the mind. Gratitude, a feeling of gratitude, is from the heart. Now, if we're in a current energy where we're kind of like, it's all the mind stuff, we're all stuck in the mind, all that 7 energy, right? You know, it's like the mind is the tricker that says, you owe me. You know, you owe me gratitude for what I did to you. You owe me a thank you. You owe me something in return for what I did to you. Whereas the heart, so that's conditional, whereas the heart is unconditional. right? And it always reminds me of one of Dr. Wayne Dyer's favorite sayings. He's like, or someone else is saying that he echoed, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me, right? It just keeps giving and giving and giving unconditionally. And what does that kind of light do? That kind of love is what lights up the whole world. Now, we are, as we integrate into the heart and integrate the heart and mind working in coherence together, we are those lights. We are lighting up the world. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's a bit, again, recognizing where you're in lower mind and where you're in higher mind, and start to integrate them. You know, the lower mind is not wrong. It's there to service. That the mind and the brain is there as a creator. We can't create, if we only had a heart and we didn't have a brain, we can't create from that. The brain, right, and the ego is how you have your uniqueness, your individualized form of divine consciousness. Without a brain, you couldn't think, and without thinking, you couldn't create something out of nothing, right? So it takes the integration of both. And I think the thing that gratitude brings up is like, you know, what is gratitude? Like, it's me having an expectation. I need your gratefulness to feel better. That's mind. If you get into the heart, where the higher mind exists, it's like divine source doesn't need thank you for you existing. You don't need to be thanked for existing. You exist. You are a divine expression of all that is. There's no thank you to be done, right? And it's about saying, you know, okay, if I'm feeling like I need gratitude from people and I'm not getting it, just get into the heart and you'll feel that gratitude from within you, and it won't trigger and affect you that you weren't getting it from outside yourself. So it's an interesting theme that's been coming up, and people getting triggered by, and in the spiritual community, noticing that some people are so far along the path and some of them are getting a little kind of like overloaded with so much spiritual information. Sometimes they're forgetting the fundamental thing they were taught growing up, to be polite and just say thank you. Just a basic thank you. Not namaste in you know, infinite gratitude. You don't have to embellish it. Just a simple thank you, you know. And sometimes I think we can get so far along that road, we can forget just the basic fundamental human aspect of, it's polite to say thank you when somebody does something nice. Don't know where all that came from, but
thank you, Donovan. Zara, do you have anything to follow on from that? I saw you like shaking your head a couple of times, going,
Yeah, exactly. I should have been taking notes. I struggle to hold on to memories now, so
which is a good thing.
Yeah, not my line of work. But I feel like that need for recognition, that need for gratitude from others, I think that also speaks from a place of lacking gratitude and appreciation to yourself. How often do we wake up in the morning and say thank you to your body for waking up? How often do we say thank you to our mind for figuring out a problem? How often do we thank ourselves? And you know, that we're meant to be regenerative, right? That love, that energy is meant to be regenerative within ourselves. And, you know, with you saying this being a 7-month and going from the mind to the heart, it's is very busy on the inside. Internally, where there's like a whole microcosm of activity going on inside. And so for some people, they need to be still, and they need to be in mindfulness and meditation and resting. And for other people who can't do that, they are more called to doing mindless work, mindless activities, and staying busy, but not anything that involves a great deal of thinking. And I think that's a beautiful thing right now, that we're being given that opportunity to remain busy while not really using our head and our heart as much, because inside there's a whole lot going on. And so I'm seeing us as being this battery of recharging. You know, we're moving from our lower mind to our higher mind, and then we're integrating that heartfelt, that mindful heart energy back up into our mind, so that our lower mind can be integrated with that, and so that even our conscious thoughts start resembling the vibration of our heart. And so this month of April is very much about that. And I really feel, especially this week, I feel like the week after the new moon is very much about repose, about rest. So it's more of like our external reality is just kind of coming into a warm, fuzzy blanket and just like, okay, we need to not incubate, but hibernate, the thing bears do in the winter. But, I think sitting in gratitude is something that for my awakening journey, my spiritual journey, doing gratitude exercises was the first step of this whole journey before I even understood what any of this meant. And it's those fundamental basics, like you said, Donovan, saying thank you. We've gotten away from the very basic elementary things because, for some of us who've been on this journey for so long, we're like, way up there, like bringing it back in, bringing all the energy back into ourselves. Don't mix energies with other people. Just bring it in and bring it back to basics. The other thing that I wanted to say that is I've noticed that gifts are coming in really strong. Really, really, really strong. I think empathy and feeling other people's energies is really, really strong, but discernment is also really strong too. Knowing what isn't your own, knowing what it belongs to someone else. I've noticed this for me. I don't know if you would say that it's the same for you too as well, but like really picking up on other people's energies. And I think the more we spend time alone and knowing who we are, knowing what we're feeling and what's going on, and being able to label that is really going to go a long way in helping us decipher what's coming in, what's coming through, because there's so much busyness on all levels. And so, yeah.
Yeah, perfectly said. Thank you, guys. I think we're going to, if it's okay, wrap it up here because last week was really long and I enjoyed it immensely. But if you resonate with what we're talking about, if you'd like to connect with us more, I will put details in the description box below. You can connect with Zara. She does intuitive guidance reading. She does an amazing job. Donovan, he does a whole plethora of different types of sessions working with kind of intuition based, but also number and frequency and all that good stuff. So I'll put down in the description box below. I do a lot of healing and energy work if you're not familiar with my work, so you can connect with me there. All that will be in the description box below. But let's get into the intuitive guidance videos for this week. So tune in. We've already pre-recorded 3 readings for this week. So this will be card A, or reading A. Yeah. We have B, card B, or reading B.
B.
How did I do these videos without you guys before? And lucky last we got C, reading C or card C.
Now they can listen to it on mute. They don't actually have to listen to us.
Thank you, first of all, Zara and Donovan, for joining me once again. I, incredibly enjoy bouncing off you guys and, sharing this with you guys. So thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're having an insightful, empowering, transformational week. We'll be back, no doubt, in the next week if we can work out time and its linear, non-linear phase, and see how things are picked up. My intuitive feeling this week was that we're kind of going to coast along similar themes until Easter.
Wow.
So, but I think a really important thing is just to be in the moment. And, you know, if it feels heavy or you feel like you're in your headspace, know that that's going to shift, and see what things that you can do to support yourself to shift out of that. And, you know, when the mind is running around, do what Zara said, you know, and Donovan, like, move back into the heart, consciously move back into the heart, go outside, do something different, change your routine, be in the now, be in the stillness, get into nature. There's so many beautiful things you can do to shift that vibration and help support yourself through this transitional phase. So thank you all again, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Sending much love.